Is this the fastest, easiest, most simplest way you can do sauerkraut at home? I don't know, a little while back I did a sauerkraut video, how to make your own sauerkraut easy at home, but I got contacted by one of my viewers, John Smith, who said there's an easier way than that. So we're gonna try that today. Let's just kick it. I'm DrHans, this is DrHans Brewery, my channel about beer and homebrewing. This is not so much beer related today, but it is about fermentation, and as a homebrewer I'm really stoked about fermenting and trying to ferment different things, and one of these things are of course food. And today we will be doing sauerkraut the most easiest, fastest way as possible, and sticking with that, which you shouldn't do, I found cabbage already sliced up. This is of course like 3 times more expensive, so you should really cut your own. You can go and watch my first video. It was really simple and it's really fast. But today is all about speed. This is 400 grams of cabbage. I'm gonna mix that with 2% salt, and that's why we will be sticking to metric today. To calculate the amount of salt you use, you take the weight of the cabbage in grams. This is 400 grams, and you multiply that with 0.02, and that will give you 2%, and that will be 8 grams. Any salt will do that don't have iodine in it. This is Himalayan salt. You can use kosher salt, sea salt, but should not have iodine in it. That's 8 grams, but before I add the salt, I'm a little bit stupid, yes, sorry. Before we add the salt, we need to make ourselves a fermenter, and we will ferment this in vacuum sealed. So this is Lacto fermenting, and this is anaerobic. Should we double seal it? Double sealed. I'm gonna cut this a little bit bigger, just in case, but I don't think this will swell up so much during fermentation because it's just cabbage. But if you're doing this with fruit or anything with more sugar in it than cabbage, if you had a lot of carrots or something, it could swell up more. If you watch the other videos, you will see that this should go much faster. I'm gonna add the salt, toss this around a little bit. Try to keep, of course, everything clean. Try to be as fast as possible, because the salt will bring out the moisture from the cabbage. Then you won't, but I don't want to draw a lot of liquid into my vacuum sealer. So that's why I'm trying to be a little bit fast with this. So no massaging this time. If this works, this will be like a game changer, I think. You can ferment it and do like small batches and throw the whole bag into the fridge when it's done. We will see if it works. I'm thinking that the salt will penetrate the cabbage, and that will release juices, and that will more evenly distribute the salt. I will like move this around and about during fermentation. Let's do a double seal on this end also. Is this good content? This is the cheapest vacuum sealer I could find actually, but I will try to put some sort of a cheap alternative to this one in my Amazon storefront, and the bags in my Amazon storefront you find a lot of stuff I use for brewing, for serving beer, fermenting stuff, filming, and 3D printing. Nice, you can go and check that out. We will leave this for, I'm thinking, 2 weeks. Hopefully the bag won't explode. 2 weeks later, and the bag has swelled up a little bit, definitely changed color, and we also have a control here to compare it with. This is made the traditional way. I will link down below to my traditional sauerkraut video. I'm still stoked about this method, because if this is working now, this is a really handy way, because now this is finished, you could just throw this into the fridge and open one bag when needed. The bag did swell up, but it did not swell up the way like my raspberry bag or the blueberry bag did. The blueberry bag did take 1 day longer than the raspberry to like swell up to the extreme, but still we have some sort of gas in here. One thing that could be different here is that I did massage this one, and I did not with this one. So this was much more simpler, and whoever came up with this idea must be a genius, and it's not me. Do check out. Ooh. Yeah, it's sour, all right. Let me get some hint. You really get the sauerkraut vibe. This has a lot more liquid in it, and this other one is much more dry. And color-wise, the traditional one is a little bit whiter, and the fermented in a bag one is a little bit more yellow. And the bag version is a little bit more pungent. Let's start with the traditional one. Nice, fresh, sour, perfectly salted, a little bit of chewiness. The bagged version, very different in texture here, but this, I realize now that this experiment sucks, because we're not really comparing apples to apples, cabbage to cabbage, because I did use a pre-cut one, and this is a little bit rougher than the one I used here. And they're not from the same cabbage, so maybe all of this experiment is a failure, but this really worked and it's nice. Both of these turned out really good, but I do think I prefer this one, but I don't think we can judge this, as this wasn't a perfect experiment, but it was still cool, and this method works, and it could be awesome. Something else that was awesome was my trip to Cologne, where I did eat a lot of sauerkraut, and I also tried to try out as much Kölsch as possible direct from the source. You can go and check out that one. Hej då!